Hey buddy, how's it? Hey buddy, I'm gonna do my Avengers Age of Ultron review. This is like the film where they introduce Scarlet Witch. If any of you watched Age of the Shield back then in that season 2, episode 19, we see that, I'm pretty sure, I hope that's right, episode's right, but it's the one where in the ending we see Phil Coulson and Maria Hill talking to, we were turning in the talked about Loki to find out where Loki's staff is, and it's in a hydro base in Sokovia, and they told in the Avengers, so then it leads up to the film itself. So they did that this hashtag called "It's All Connected." So just remember that. I was like so excited for this film. I was like, when the trailer first came out, I was like really excited for this film. I thought that the Avengers would have a dark-themed film that was going to be insane, and I really didn't know what to expect. And when I watched the film, it wasn't like the trailers. Like, the vibe wasn't like the trailers. But however, I felt like I was watching. At the moment when I first saw it, I was like, "This is the best film I've ever seen." We see the Avengers going to Sokovia in Britain, and we see they're just doing all ad, trying to get Loki's scepter. We see Hawkeye and Black Widow and Bruce and Hulk just help out in such an awesome way, and the outfits and looks amazing and such. We see the Mesmoth twins, and they're really interesting already. I really didn't know what to expect. We see that in the beginning of the film, we see that Tony and Bruce, they were talking about building Ultron. I didn't expect them to immediately talk about Ultron like that. It was really interesting how they just spoke about making Ultron already so soon. Yeah, they were talking about that how they didn't have to worry about with the Avengers pretty much could rest out. Ultron could save people from danger. That was Tony's plan, and it really backfired because we see that there's like a lot of crazy things going on with his Jarvis, and then the attack just didn't really work well. Pretty much, they tried multiple times and tried to create Ultron, and they just Tony didn't take the word, and then he eventually did. We see that in the party scene, we see them Steve and Sam, they're trying to talk to each other about finding New York City, and then we see them talking about trying to find Bucky, and then there's a little conversation, but it was really nice that Sam was in this film. I wish we would have seen Falcon being introduced to Tony a little bit more properly. I feel like that was a missed opportunity there, but there was like a lot of things they could have done in this film, but they didn't, which is alright. I did like how Natasha Romanoff and Bruce Banner were talking to each other. They're like floating and such in a way, but I feel like they're like pushing too forward with that, trying to like build a relationship with that in this film so quickly, and it just didn't work for me pretty much. I understand what they were trying to do, but there wasn't real pacing within that. I really loved how this film we did to understand Clint Boyne a little bit more. We see how he wants to, like, he knows he's trying to he's not the main dude in Avengers, but he wants to show this film wanted to show that Clint can actually do more than just shoot arrows. Pretty much, he want to, like, he's adventure after us. I feel like this film really did a really great job showing that. And I really like how they teased Wakanda pretty much, and we see um, the Claw character, Ulysses Claw, right? Yeah. His introduction was really great. I really liked how his character was. When we see Wanda and Pietro going inside the church to talk to Ultron, we see that he's already built up. So we see that he built himself already, and I was like, wow, that was fast. But yeah, I really liked Wanda in this film. Yeah, her interaction with her brother was really genuine. I feel like they were very pissed off with Tony Stark pretty much, and you didn't really see that. And the conversation Pedro had with Ultron, that was about the little picture, that it's not that it makes sense in a sensible way. They really don't like Tony Stark at all, because he was like in some way responsible for the parents' death. We see that Ultron wanted Wanda to give the Avengers mind games. We see that one of the things that she does with, for example, Natasha, we see a little bit more backstory in the Black Widow program, what she did when she was younger and all that stuff, and it made me really intrigued in how it made me understand why she is how she is, especially when she was in the bathroom, you know, in that scene where she was talking to Bruce about the Red Room. That was it. Made things lined up in a really great way. I felt like there was like a lot of things that there was her story. The character was starting to have a real story arc, and I really enjoyed that with her. The thing with when Wanda drew Steve's mind, we see that what if he was, he was never in the ice, or he had a dance with Peggy, and how his life would have been with, and he wanted his happy ever after type thing, and she didn't, she never got, and we see that he wants to, we see that when he was in the house, we see that he wanted to, he took some armor off, so because I felt like he finally trying to let go, and let's just relax a bit from being Captain America and just be Steve at the moment. In a way, we see when Wanda controlled Thor, we see that he was having all these he was seeing things about destruction, and then pretty much, and then he saw, like, he went off to find Everett Salvage, and he went to trying to figure out what the vision was, and then the stuff about the Mind Stone. Pretty much he's learning more. He's trying to learn a little bit more about that. There was like a delayed scene with him about him running through to inside the cave, and I didn't know why they deleted that scene. I really liked that they didn't mind control Hawkeye in this film. I liked Hawkeye's interaction with Pietro. It was really unique, and I wouldn't say they were getting along with friends or anything like that, but I feel like they had good chemistry pretty much, like talking to each other in a way. And but that doesn't mean they're got along. I feel like they're like just wanting to do the right thing. They're the only reason for doing the right thing. We see that Ultron is talking to Wanda and Pietro about the Avengers inside the laboratory, pretty much, about how the Wanda finds out that she sees that Ultron wants to annihilate everything, and there was like a lot of like messed up things Wanda's seen within Ultron, and mostly when she touches the box Vision is in, and we see that Pietro and Wanda realizing that they're on the wrong side and they escape from Ultron. We see them inside when they go inside the house. We see that Clint Barton, he has children, he has a wife, and we see like a different side of him that we never thought we could see. And I really like that they showed us that, because I feel like I feel like we were seeing that the character grow in some way. I really enjoyed seeing that. I really like I really found interesting the conversation Tony and Steve were having about focusing on the mission and stuff like that. And then all these things is every time during the mission, someone always dies every time, and that was really interesting because that's unfortunately happens with the Avengers so far, in a way. I honestly wasn't expecting Nick Fury to be in this film, but he wasn't. He was starting to. I found it interesting that Tony opened up to Nick Fury a little bit more compared to him talking to Steve pretty much. So Tony and Nick Fury, they were talking to each other about how Wanda gave him like the vision or manager of him seeing, of Tony seeing the Avengers being dead because of him, and everything was his fault and such. So I feel like that's why he wanted to create Ultron, because he didn't want to be responsible for like certain things, and he didn't want it to backfire in some way. So I feel like if Tony created Ultron, Tony's vision would have been, if he created Ultron, he would be able to promote. He will find ways to help the rest of the Avengers and save them, because he won't be too focused on saving the world, because he will have Ultron to back him up pretty much, and that obviously didn't go his way. So I feel like I didn't know who exactly Vision was in this film. I really liked how Thor just showed up and just activated the suit. The competition with Tony and Steve about creating Vision, that was really intense. And we see that Thor wanted to create Vision because he saw the Mind Stone, and he wanted to focus on the fact that Tony in some way was right about creating something out of it. I feel like Thor wanted to create Ultron. Thor wanted to create Vision particularly to save Ultron in a way. When the Avengers were about to get ready to fight Ultron, there was Wanda she used surprise to get people out of Sokovia, and I think that was a really great move that they did. They tried to explode everyone else before the real stuff happened, but unfortunately we see that it's too late. Just Ultron pretty much used the vibranium he got in near Wakanda. Pretty much he had to use the vibranium to live up the city, and it was really interesting that it's really seeing how he did that. We see that Steve and Clint and Natasha, they're fighting Ultron and Korea, and she eventually gets kidnapped, and the conversation Ultron has with Natasha about him evolving really scared her in a way. I really like the action in this film. There was a lot of great moments where we see them fighting in different ways now. We see the Avengers really team up in a way that we enjoy seeing them. In the beginning of the film, when they were talking about Thor's hammer and who should have left it pretty much, and we see that Steve left it for a bit. I was like really excited. I thought he was going to left it, but completely, but that's not. Then we see later in the film, we see Vision lift the hammer, and then I was like, okay, we trust him then. We trust him. That's what I feel like that was a good. At the end of the day, they was the Avengers weren't sure if Thor and Tony were right about Vision pretty much being made, and that it worked out pretty well for them. I really loved that scene with them inside the church protecting the cradle, right? And they were like fighting for this, which they had a objective to protect pretty much. That was what he expected. They did that. That was amazing. I love the scenes there. And then comes the most ridiculous part of the film, the one scene that I did not like how we see that in this film they have a storyline with Wanda and Pietro and to try to tell the story and such, and out of nowhere Ultron just kills off Pietro. I honestly thought when I first saw this film, I heard rumors that someone was to be killed off in this film, and I thought it was going to be Hawkeye. It turns out that we see Wanda just break down and her powers just like obliterated the robots. I was like, wow, that part was not amazing, but her powers are like amazing. I love Wanda already. Like that was really unique. I just love the way Wanda uses her powers, pretty much. And I cannot wait for WandaVision for sure. I liked her accent. I liked how I didn't think it was bad. I felt like honestly I feel like she could have pulled it off throughout the entire MCU. However, they chose not to. And that's alright. What did I think about this film? Did you guys like what Tony was doing with Ultron? And do you guys like how do you understand why he wanted to make Ultron, and the fact that he wanted to save the Avengers because he just wanted to look out for them in that way? Did you guys like how they introduced Wanda and Pietro in this film? And what did I think about how they treated Clint Bowen in this film? Do you feel like they give him a lot of... Do you feel like they show the better side of Hawkeye in this film? And did you guys even like the kind of chemistry between Bruce and Natasha? Because I want to know your thoughts in the comments below, because I really find this, I liked it at first, and then but I felt like it wasn't go through. And let me know in the comments down below what you guys think about Avengers. We see the end credit scene where Thanos just grabs the gauntlet pretty much and says that he wanted to taste himself. That was interesting. Here's one other MCU reviews I've done Infinity War and Endgame already, a couple years ago, so you can see that right here, and you just subscribe right here. Bye.